Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome from Laurel Park. Naomi Tucker joined by Tim Tulloch this morning. Glad to have you with me for today's morning show.
Yeah, very warm welcome. 57 degrees out there. We're getting rain, but very warm. We'll take that first week of February for sure. I know that we have the rain, but a little break from that wicked cold weather we had last week is certainly welcome.
It certainly has warmed up indeed. And talking about the heat starting to turn on, we do have some stakes action coming our way soon. Sprint Fest on Saturday, February the 19th. 6 stakes races totaling over $900,000 in posts. Of course, headlined by the historic Grade 3 General George, historic Grade 3 Barbara Fritchie. Now, you've been here longer than me,
yes.
Tim. Which one would be your favorite when you're looking at these kind of stakes races?
Well, I love the Fritchie. It's one of my favorite races of the year. I was fortunate enough to run second in it one year with Sensibly Chic, but this is a big day of racing. The George always turns out well, and we always like seeing the 3-year-old fillies and the 3-year-old boys, which we get in the Miracle Wood and the Wide Country. So yes, exciting weekend. We run a 4-day weekend. We run Monday, President's Day, following that Saturday. So a lot of action to look forward to.
Indeed, Tim already highlighted we do have a live card coming your way on that Monday, February the 21st. As usual, as we've just gone back to the 12:25 p.m. post time, that will also be the start of the first race on that day. We already mentioned the weather, Tim. Let's have a look at the track. We've had a fair bit of rain. It was raining when I was driving in here. Right now, the track is sloppy, similar conditions to what we saw yesterday.
Similar to what we saw yesterday, you're right. Sloppy, sealed, temperatures dropped to 45. It's supposed to drop throughout the day, but this is going to play like a summer sloppy track, I think, all day today. So, look, we're going to take the temperatures for sure.
Yeah, we'll take the warmer weather coming our way, of course, hoping that spring will arrive soon, and maybe at some point we start to look forward with anticipation to it when the turf season starts again as well.
That's not too far off when you think about it. We're talking about 2 months. April 1st is less than 2 months away, so hopefully the turf is responding well to the winter, and we get on the grass the first week.
Oh, they
get plenty of moisture. Right? No, not this time of year. And hopefully we get back on the grass the first week of April. So we have that to look forward. Until then, we'll just we'll get through here, and we've got a couple good weekends coming up.
Absolutely. Those stakes races, that stakes weekend, Barbara Fritchie weekend, was one of my first big weekends when I joined the team here. So very fondly look back at the last couple of years, and of course, very much excited for this year's renewal as well. Hoping to get those nominations in soon so we can start having a look who might line up in those graded stakes events. But let's start with talking about today's action. 8 races coming your way. Race number 1 starts at early pick 5. It's an optional claimant starter allowance event. 6 furlongs, the sprinting distance. And Tim, you and I landed on the same horse in here. That is the number 6, Peterson's Courage, who dropped significantly in level for training Brittany Russell after trying to gun against some tough allowance figures, including going to the lead, who we know has been ultra consistent.
The very good going to the lead would come back and win. But look, this is the perfect spot for Peterson's Courage. Broke his maiden for that maiden 40. We're in a 2 lifetime 25,000 for all practical purposes this afternoon. You could not be entered any better for Brittany Russell. It's about 27% off this type of layoff. A couple work cents. I don't worry about the track condition in that last race. I think the race was just ultimately too tough. We'll handle this bunch this afternoon.
Yeah, I used the number 2 watcher. Said on the near, this is his second career start for the Michael Merriman bond. Cuts back sharply to his career best distance, which is a move that I actually like for him.
I think it's great. When you look back on his form, you'll see his lifetime best race was sprinting. That was last September. Has not sprinted since. Gets back in at this sprint distance with a little bit of class relief. Should be enough to get it done.
Oh, you have some interest in number 3, Triple Tito's, though.
I do. You have to. Second off the claim of 4, Dale Capuano. He won 3 races yesterday. Turns back from a sprint to a route. Dale, very, very good at that. I thought that was a decent finish while going a mile and 16th in his last. And if you look back on his form, you're going to see a couple good sprint races with figures that fit right here. But I think the race goes through Brittany Russell and Peterson's Courage.
Yeah, I feel like certainly that seems to be the horse to beat. I use him on top. You did. We're in unison here. Let's move on to race number 2, which is the start of the early pick 4 sequence. Now, we don't have Keith Fustor on the desk this morning, but he did provide us with an early pick 4 ticket. Let's see how he plays it. 2 and 5 is what he keys around in this first leg. And again, 2 deep in race number number 3, the 5, and the 6. And now I have the 6 stay in on top as well because I think the flow is going to set up for him. Mujikabo, similar kind of likes to run into the pace. Kieran McGee trying to get back to winning ways with this lad, but he did very well running into a below par pace 2 starts ago. Race number 4, he spreads a bit. 2, 3, and 5. Those seem to be the runners to beat in that nickel claimer for the ladies. And then in race number 5, he goes 3 deep as well, using the 1, the 5, and 8. I know Johnny Sack coming in here for trainer Jeremiah Engelhard. And of course, the number 5, Swing West, is my top selection in there too. He's got a solid pace from the gate. I think he's going to try to take them all the way there, helped by Bryson Butterfly, of course, continuing to take those 7 pounds off. $18 flat, starting right here in race number 2. We definitely saw a couple of price plays yesterday. We'll see if we can get some value in this sequence as well. But let's start with race number 2, 6 furlongs. The distance optional claim starter allowance for the ladies. Tim, you and I are all in on Gifted Heart for trainer Phil Schoen.
Yeah, the winner second off the break at the same level in that last start over a muddy track. Look, has plenty of races on her form to go on. She's 3 for 5 on an off track, 5 for 5 in the money, and the figures work. I think it works again today for Gifted Heart.
And I feel like she can run despite any form of condition. She can run
Yes.
on any track. She can take pressure, hold her own, not be phased by it, which makes her, to me, in this spot, kind of the winning combination. Also, just a little bit more classy than some of the others in here. I mean, she was put in the Marilyn Distaff last year when she was doing very, very well, was holding her own at that 2 other than level. Now, perhaps she's not gotten back to that kind of form, but it isn't that far off when you look back at her performance.
No, it's really not. And she's at a level now that she can handle, even if she's not quite at her best. I mean, she's run bigger figures in the past, but that 68, she comes back with 68 to 70, going to be good enough.
Yeah, and we also used Proper Attire, who's also very, very fast. Well, actually, in her last race, she got away a touch late and was hence required and actually encouraged by JD Acosta to really get herself into that leading spot as soon as possible. You can see him asking her there.
Yeah, asks her there, but I didn't consider it that much of an ask. It was an ask for the first 100 yards, but then JD just kind of lets her cruise up right from here on. He doesn't ask anymore. He takes a little
That's her
hole.
within herself, right?
That's her within herself. So really, eventually, she gets to the lead as she feels like here going into the far turn. As you see down on the inside is the eventual winner, Gifted Heart, who we just talked about. Well, look, this was a big effort from Proper Attire this particular afternoon, and maybe she used up a little bit in that first part, but I didn't think it wasn't a desperate ride to the lead. As you see sometimes, it was a little, okay, we got to go here in the beginning, but then a nice, beautiful, smooth ride after that first 100 yards. So I'm not going to give it as much credit that she was used too much. However, this is first off the claim for Jamie Ness. Has been good. She's been good on and off track. She must get away. And if Jamie improves her a little bit at all and gets back to those previous races and previous numbers, she can be very, very dangerous.
She can be indeed.
Yeah.
I do think we're going to see somewhat of a similar setup and rematch as last time because Gifted Heart is again on her inside. But if Proper Attire breaks a little bit cleaner, now doesn't have to go from that super high draw, that might give her that little bit of edge to go with Gifted Heart early.
Yeah, the brick. I mean, if she gets away cleanly and doesn't have to be used early, then it may make a difference in the end. But Gifted Heart looks like, to me, Gifted Heart looks the class of the field.
Same. Have to key her underneath, though. Race number 3, claiming 16 to 12,500 level. Non-winners of 3, lifetime 5.5 furlongs the distance. And I started that Rainbow Pick 6. Now, Tim, we have quite the carryover here. $5,319. A good number to start you off with. Worth having a look at the sequence for. How did you play it?
This is how I went. $57.60, and I spread in race 3. I think this race is pretty wide open. I used the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 6. The 5, Muda Camille, my top pick in that event. Race 4, 3 deep there. I used the 1, the 3, and the 5. Race of 5, I go 4 deep again. First level allowance race. Some scratches in there, but still, I think, a very competitive race. 2, 5, 6, and 8. And then I single in race 6. That is on the 7 Image Maker for Ricky Silliman. Javion Toledo gets the call. Race 7, 2 deep there. The 2 and the 6, Sunday Mischief and Hefner. Another one for Mikey Dralis, Hefner, coming out of a nice race behind a lot of hope. And in race 8, 3 deep there, I use the 3, the 4, and the 7. $57.60 ticket. Good luck if you play along in the Rainbow Pick 6.
I like the way how you're going deeper on some of the earlier legs, especially race 5 to me seems very, very open, worth taking a punt. And then in a couple of those middle race, like 6 and 7 of the sequence, I feel like, yes, you can key around those type of horses, hoping that the favorite or the short price runners are going to get the job done. You got some value in the other part of it, $57.60. So let's talk about race number 3, the 5.5 furlong distance here. We use the same horses, just slightly different order. You landed on the number 5 Muta Camo for trainer Kieran McGee. Seems like this runner has turned a corner and he runs into any kind of pace scenario. 2 starts ago, they weren't going that fast. He was able to kind of run into it. The only question I have is that perhaps 5.5 is a little bit on the shorter side for him.
It might be. I mean, it might be. He's run well going 3/4. You can toss out that last race going 7/8. Don't worry about the fact that it was on a sloppy track. This is a horse that's run pretty well over a track with moisture. In fact, he owns his lifetime best 83 with a track with moisture. Now, he hasn't seen that type of figure since. But he's been in very, very good form since the McGee claim. He won over the mud 3 starts ago. The day he was claimed, he's going in the right direction. He's turning back to the 3/4 a day. Yeah, the 5.5 might be a little short. He comes in here with a work, but I think it'll be okay for him. It's going to set up for him.
Yeah, I respect him underneath because I do think there'd be a good flow for him to use it. I landed on Stay In. Georgie Ruiz, Del Caparano. I think he's going to get that kind of stalking trip. There's plenty of speed for him to use. And look, can the Del Caparano barn continue to streak at a triple yesterday?
Yeah, I think they can. I actually called he'd have 3 winners yesterday. I wasn't here, but talking to a friend, I said, Dale will have 3 winners today. And the one we'll talk about later, Pascal Champagne. All right. Look, he was behind Tyreek in his last start. That was a good effort. He's clearly made improvement since arriving in the Dale Capuano barn. Even 2 starts ago, look who he runs behind, Zen Pai and Visual Artist. We know Visual Artist would come back and win, I think, not in his next start, but his most recent start for Jamie Ness. Zen Pai has been a consistent performer for Dale Capuano. So, yeah, he beat Muda Camille 3 starts back, so it's a pretty competitive group, but either way, I think the race goes through the 5 or the 6.
Yeah, I respect them both. Use the number 2 underneath as well as part of a bit of a perhaps pace influence here. Charm City Band. This is going to be his second start for the Pickett Barn. Drops down from being overmatched in that open company allowance.
That's the end of the day. Just was overmatched in that most recent 2 back. A good race at this level behind the next out winner in Forced. The race before that was a winner at this 5.5 furlong distance over sloppy track. Let's not forget about the 1, the hair of the dog. This is why I spread in this race. 2 back over a muddy track going 5.5 furlongs. A big win. Getting the job done, but beating a couple horses that can run. Pardsy would come back and win, but not only win, but win for fun last week. One More Factor would come back and win. So Hair the Dog back in amongst closer to his type has a shot this afternoon.
For sure. It seems like a competitive heat, that race. Race number 4, Nickel Claimers, Fillies Mess, 4-year-old and up, 6 furlongs the distance here. Let's start with my top pick, Parched Ghost, because we have a video spotlight on her from her last outing, which resulted in her getting her picture taken. She'll have to come with a near career best swing at it here because this is a competitive bunch. But on the day, she sat behind the pace. You can kind of see her coming up there. She's a striking grey. I know we had a little bit of fog that day, so you can't really see that well, but she was weaving through horses to get to this position. She was giving her all out to like try and get to him. I think she can do just as well here today, but she'll have to put up an effort like this because there's a couple of tough horses in here.
There are. Gray on a rainy day. We've talked about that. 2 of them passing the wire right there. That race was from 2 starts ago. That race was going 3/4 of a mile. That's what she gets to turn back this afternoon off a most recent win going a mile. She ran behind a filly that you know I love, Calypso Ghost, that day. She's winner of 2 of her last 4. Now, those 2 wins were going a mile, but she's very, very competitive. That was a good rally inside. Never particularly the best part of the racetrack when
especially
it's
with
sloppy.
some moisture, right?
Yeah, exactly. And probably ran against it a little bit that today. But she's more than capable. That was a just miss effort. That was an open nickel race that you saw there on video. That's what she gets today.
Yeah, no, I think she's very, very competitive in here. But look, if I'm playing the exotics, I'm spreading in this race because that there's gold, your top selection. I respect her in here. 8-year-old mare looking for a second win in 3 starts here, 2 starts to go very, very well over course and distance. I'm hoping that it wasn't the sloppy service that meant that she wasn't able to really apply her trade at the best level last time out because I didn't really see any excuses. She was able to get through, but just lacked a little bit late.
She lacked a little bit in her last start, but this is a 10-time winner that most time brings her game every single time. She's a 7-time winner here at Laurel. She has performed well over and off track, including a couple starts this past year in 2021. This is just a mare that I trust a little bit. I think she'll run well today. She's going to have to improve off that last start, but her 2 starts previous to that, look, they're good enough. They can get it done.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's why I was saying this is a competitive heat because they're all similarly matched, and it's all about who gets the right position and who's going to enjoy the track conditions the most. We'll be back with race 5 after the short break. Welcome back to Laurel Park. We have 8 races coming your way. And we're on race number 5, which is also the start of the late pick 4, which I decided to create a ticket for today. Well, look, Tim, I was saying some of these middle races of the day are very competitive. So I spread in race number 5 using the 1, the 2, the 5, and the 8. The 5, Swing West, my top selection in this spot. And then I'm hoping, or I feel like I can go tight in the rest of the races, keying around the number 2, Rammer, as well as the number 7, Image Maker. In race number 6, I know Image Maker is your single on your Rainbow Pick 6. I just used Rammer underneath because I thought his last start was actually kind of a bit better than it looks like on paper. Race 7, 2 deep as well, using the 2 and the 6, Sunday Mischief, fast improving 3-year-old. And then the number 6, Hefner, got what it takes, now makes his, now gets the Lasix on for the first time and ran behind a very strong A Lot of Hope, half sibling, of course, to Street Loot. Race number 8, again, keying around 2 horses here. I didn't want to sit on Money Code. He's my second choice. I thought about maybe just going with Pit Stop Man, but I'm wondering if Claudio Gonzalez is going to jump up with Money Code. So I used both of them in here for a $16 flat ticket. That starts right here in race number 5. But let's start by talking about Swing West, the number 5 in here, because we have a video of his last race. You're holding up your hands. Solid pace from the gate till the finish. Had some company, ended up clearing by himself before really digging in deep again to hold off any of those late challenges.
Yeah, this was a nice ride by Bryson Butterfly. Just kind of laid off that early speed. I got him up there, but right here, just let him slip away from the field at will. Didn't try to do a whole lot early and get over anxious. And then Swing West just kept on coming. Now he beat Solomonic and Bellarmine Hall. Now they both ran yesterday. They ran 2nd and 3rd, I believe, yesterday. But this was a 12-5 race. This is a step, probably a lateral move to the A other than. You win an open 12-5. These are accomplished horses. Most of the horses behind him have already won their first level allowance condition when you get to that open 12-5. But look, that was a really, really good race, turning back to the 3/4 of a mile, 7/8 of a mile today. But he has had races where he's run well sprinting. So handles some moisture okay. There's plenty to like. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I thought it was such an honest effort.
It was.
I think he's going to turn up again today. To me, kind of the reliable horse in here. But like you said, that A other than level in here, I feel like when I'm looking at the kind of type he's running against, especially this field keyed up, it is a bit of a lateral move. I don't believe they're that much tougher. Now, sometimes we have these breakout horses in these allowance level, but I don't believe that's the case today.
I don't think I see one of those today. I don't have this one on top. I went elsewhere. But look, 2 back. He beat Extra Medium. He beat Hard Fought, would come back to win. It was over a muddy track going 3/4 of a mile. This should work for him.
Yeah, you have Abuelo Paps
I
on top.
do.
I have him in second. Look, I love this horse. I've been following him throughout his career. He tries his best every single time. Tends to pick up a piece quite frequently. Got the win a couple of starts ago in the restricted Maryland bred allowance. And that was actually, to me, quite an upset that day. Besting Airport, who I had a lot of respect for. So I feel like Abuelo Paps actually, with the years, he's started to get a little bit better, it feels.
It seems like that. He was originally my price play of the day, but we have 3 scratches in this race. Take out the 3 Sea Ghost, the 4 Mohifeth, and the big scratch in the 7 Kid Dior. So I know I'm not going to get a price on him, so I've changed. I still have my price play in this race, but it's not on him. Look, 4 starts ago, he runs the lifetime best, going 7/8 of a mile. That was a 79. He gets back to 7/8 of a mile for the first time since then. Yeah, the muddy track could be an issue, but he only got beat a length and a half at this first level allowance condition in his most recent race, going 5.5 furlongs.
I think
Gets
the
back to the
distance was more of
distance.
a factor
I
at that
think so.
time in
I
comparison
agree.
to the track. So
I agree. So he's run a 73 speed figure on and off track, so that's going to be close enough. So I have him, Abuelo Paps, on top.
yeah, no, I love it here. But we spread a little bit underneath. Both of us do have the number 8 Treasure Tradition, who's going to be trying to get to the front. I'm a little bit worried, though, because I felt like he got away with very soft fractions early in his last outing. So this is, for him, quite the step up.
Yeah, the 24-3 for the first quarter, going 3/4 of a mile.
No,
It doesn't get much softer than that, and he did. But look, I think he's trying to get a little bit better. His last 3 races have been in marked improvement over anything he's ever run before, and maybe this Son of Great Notion is trying to come around. Look, I don't want to throw out the 6 here, spitball.
Yeah.
If you look at his, and you left him off your pick 6.
I did, now I'm worried.
Pick 4. 2 starts ago, he runs a lifetime best 77 over a sloppy track, going 3/4 of a mile and a 3 lifetime 16. Now, yes, he is stepping up today, but boy, it looks like he gets what he wants.
He's a wet track specialist, and that might just be the key to today's possible victory. Race number 6, maiden claiming event, 25 to 20,000, 1 turn 1 mile the distance. Look, I know you singled on Image Maker towards the outside for Ricky Cinnamon. He's shown to be capable of navigating the 1 turn mile as well as the 2 turn mile and 16. He has an abundance of experience with it in comparison to some of the others in here, but he's also just continued to progress throughout, especially in that last race when he was on a rock hard pace early, and he still maintained to hold up for second.
He runs protected in this race. I guess that's a good sign. I'm not in love with that, but it's a good sign. Look, he's improved in his last 2. As you mentioned, he's handled the distance, he's handled the mud, and this just looks like a group he can handle. He can handle everything this afternoon.
Absolutely. I think the only danger for me was the number 2 Rammer. I do wonder about the distance. That's a question mark, but he was a way touch sluggish in his last race, but then ended up rushing up, got very keen throughout. I think for at least a furlong and a half, Arroyo had his hands full. I think if he's a bit more forwardly placed, I think he's going to be with the step up in distance here and allows to settle. He might just keep on chugging along once at that pace that he's comfortable at. So a bit of an unknown factor.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, and that's exactly what I have in my notes. I mean, he had a very promising debut. He ran a good figure first time out while sprinting, has been sprinting ever since, and has not run back to that race. So maybe stretching out could work. At this point, really, you've got to try something because recently, unless you're going to drop to the maiden 16 or the maiden 10, you've got to try something. So let's try stretching him out and see how that goes.
I think it could possibly work. Race number 7, first level optional claimer for the straight. 3-year-olds, 6.5 furlongs the distance here. And I'm not going to lie, you saw it in my ticket. I keyed around the 2 and the 6 to me. Very, very interchangeable. I think originally, when you always say you pick your 6, I think originally I had the 6 Hefner on top. Did end up using Sunday Mischief on top in the end, but I feel like it's a very close call. Let's look at Sunday Mischief's last race and win, where he was sent like a rocket from the gate. His ears were pricked once he gets to the front, was never headed. Now looking at the families, I have to music to my ears, who topped at a 90 buyer, but this guy seems to be the talent amongst the siblings so far.
He is the fastest among this group, I think, this afternoon. The question is, this is going to be the test. I'm going to give him a pass his first two starts because he really was trying to put things together, and he didn't get to that easy lead. He got to the easy lead this day and just drew off and won. The test is, the challenge is, I don't think that's going to happen today. He's going to have to. He's going to have pressure, probably from the 4, possibly from the 4 for sure. A Suburban Court came out, so that's a scratch. He's not going to get pressure there. But he's probably going to have pressure. He's going to have to deal with it. That's going to be the test. But if he gets clear like that, he's going to be very, very hard to catch and could take him a long way.
Yeah, well, the 6 Hefner perhaps representing some of the class in here. Sharp works, and he went up against a lot of hope sibling to Street Loot, who ran huge in stakes company before that as well. So kind of showed that he belongs among them at this level, and he's probably the most experienced in here with good figures to back it up. So I understand why you have him on top.
Coming the last 2 races over sloppy racetracks at Churchill Downs, where he won, breaking his maiden. That race behind a lot of hope. A lot of hope would come back. Don't forget, a lot of hope came back and ran in the spectacular bid. He ran very respectable behind what looks like a really nice horse in Whitty. It was a nice race. He runs 4 lengths to that one while running third. He's had a sharp work since that last race. So yeah, I like Hefner here this afternoon, and if he gets a little pace to run at, like he did in his last start, could make the difference. And look, he might be the one laying just outside of Into Mischief, putting pressure on. He's already handled off-track Sunday Mischief, who's by Into Mischief. Sunday Mischief out of that Forest Wildcat mare, even though it's 1/3 to the cut out to handle the off-going.
Bred to relish the off-going in here. Final race of today's card, race number 8, 1 Turn Mile. But also, the start of that Stronach 5, we keep saying it, Fridays are for Stronach 5. We have all the Stronach tracks into play. We're at Laurel, we're at Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita, Golden Gate Fields. I see you singled at Gulfstream Park. I
do single at Gulfstream Park. We get it started in leg A. This is a $90 ticket. I use my 2 top picks here at Laurel Park, the 4 and the 7 money code and pit stop man. In leg B, good luck. I spread here. This one is from Gulfstream Park. Their race 8. I use the 1, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 in that optional claiming event, $16,000 optional claiming event. In leg C, this is Santa Anita Park's race 3, 3 deep there, the 3, the 5, and the 7. The 3, a first-time starter for Doug O'Neill. And Doug has already had 2 winners today at Maidan, including Hot Rod Charlie, who won right before we came on air. Yes, I do single in a leg D, Gulfstream Park. I single on, oh wait a minute, I skipped a race here. Let me move back. I single on the 3 American Icon for Todd Pletcher. He has 2 horses in there, but I went with the single here, broke his maiden by 8 lengths at Gulfstream Park and ran a big 84 Beyer speed figure. If he runs back to that, he'll go gate to wire, no doubt. Race 5, 5, 6, 8 at Golden Gate Fields, $90 ticket. Good luck if you play along in Stronach 5, and you should, because even last week, 43 winners for $4,000 or something like that, or still, you should. Good investment.
Singling on a top Pletcher runner, I think, is a very, very good idea. I mean he just had the Pegasus World Cup turf winner. He clearly knows how to get horses ready to fire on race day, and of course, recently inaugurated in the Racing Hall of Fame as well. Yeah, if you want to trust someone, it will be Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, you could make worse decisions than that, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Race 8, let's go.
Maiden claiming 16 to 12,500, 1 mile. The distance here, we have a video spotlight on the number 7 Pit Stop Man, who is my top choice in here for Ned Allard. Front 4 kind of stacked along the track at Aqueduct. Pit Stop Man was on the inside. He was headed and left behind by Dr. Levy, who you see in front there. But he starts to return and he starts to reel him back in under hard drive very willingly. I love the way he takes over around just a couple of strides after this. It shows he wants to win. Unfortunately for him, he gets caught by a deep closer, but this was a strong effort for a maiden.
This was a very, very good effort up there in New York. Now, in this race also, who will be eventually running third is Money Code. So they're both coming out of the same race. up here at Aqueduct. What concerns me is he got it hung on him late in this race. That was a one-turn up mile up at Aqueduct. The one-turn mile is different here at Laurel. It's a much longer stretch than at Aqueduct. Their one-turn mile, I think that's what's going to turn the tables this afternoon in Money Code and Pit Stop Man. But look, this one's going right to the front. There's no doubt he's going right to the front. I don't think there's anyone who wants to or can or even wants to run with him early.
Projected to be fast early for
he's
sure.
going to be projected to be fast, and maybe he can hang on under Forest Boyce. I went with Money Code.
He's a danger in here for sure.
He's a danger in here. He can close coming out of that same race as a Pit Stop Man, has had a work sense. And both these guys, you just look at Claudia Gonzalez and Ned Allard, you look at their numbers, they're very, very similar. They train at quite the same percentage with all these types of runners. So it's a hard pick. I use both of them in my Stronach 5 and my Rainbow Pick 6.
Yeah, I key around these two in the last as well as we get going with lightning round. Let's get you up to speed with the current jockey and trainer standings right here at Laurel Park. And look, heated battle here amongst the jockey colony. Victor Carrasco has been on an absolute tear, hasn't he?
He's been riding very, very well. Of course, we know he had those 3 stakes wins a week ago tomorrow. That was a big weekend there. But Toledo, he just keeps on hanging in there. And look, the top 5 riders, and even beyond, they all can ride a little bit. I've said it before, if you can't go through the room at Laurel Park and find a rider you're happy with, you're just not looking, because they're there and they're 10, 12 deep.
And of course, we're very well represented as well with apprentices coming up through the ranks. I know Charlie Marquez was up for the Eclipse Award again as well. So it's look, it's been a terrific sporting kind of viewing point. Like, I love watching these riders applying their trade and do so very, very competitively and successfully. Let's have a look at the trainers' standings in here, which actually has been pretty heated up too. You can see Jerry Robb has taken over 10 wins. Claudio Gonzalez starting to churn out those winners again. And Anthony Ferrier really having found his groove.
He has. Ferrier Barn has come back. They were quiet late last summer and last fall, but they have gotten their groove back. Claudio Gonzalez, always consistent. We know that. He's been the leading trainer at virtually every meet for the last 2 or 3 years. Anyway, Jerry Robb, very, very consistent. Comes off last day I was on there was this past Sunday, a couple winners that day, and he's always in the mix. But it's good to see him at the top of the leaderboard. It's just good to see someone other than Claudio. No offense to you, Claudio, at the top of the leaderboard. It just gives it a little bit different.
It is so
different
competitive. Look. Oh, and I just wanted to add, of course, John Geraldo as well as to the Eclipse Award nominees for Champion Apprentice. Good luck to both Geraldo and Marquez. I think the awards will be handed out next week. What we mentioned, Stronach 5 Friday, the popular across the country wager with Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita, Golden Gate Fields, us involved. Payouts has been terrific every single week. So get your handicapping hat on, get involved, and try and beat the rest. That will be, we get a lot of money coming in here. So try and beat the other handicappers, try and outsmart them, and learn a little bit about the different circuits as well. Yesterday was a banner day for jockey Forest Boyce, who did secure her 900th career win. There we see her there on Thruster. She also actually got the double later on the day, winning race 7 on Devilish Affair for Rob Vukovic. But look, you see her here. She did it the hard way. She ends up getting the picture here for trainer Donald Barr, but it was so close.
It was so close. And look, Forrest is a great person, a friend of mine. A very good friend of mine, but she also rode a lot of horses for me. It's nice to have it contributed to those some of those wins there, but you can always trust her to give your horse a good ride. And a good horse, at the end of the day, she's a good horsewoman. And I think that goes a long way when it comes to being a good rider.
I feel like horses run for her and she times it to perfection, especially on both surfaces, actually. Really knows when to make that move to get them up there in tight. So massive congratulations to her on her milestone. And here's to many more victories and hopefully here's to 1,000, right?
Yeah, here's to 1,000. Don't worry, Forrest. You're hanging in this winter, and turf season should be about 2 months away.
There you go. Now, finally, it was also a big day for trainer Dale Capuano, who recorded a triple. He had 4 starters on the day, a 1 with 3 of them. Race number 4 with Sheriff Chip. Race number 6 with Pascal Chant. We're looking at that here with Carlos Lopez. Lopez was a $12.80 winner. And then race number 8 with Gallinella and Alexander Crispin.
Well, I had said to a friend earlier yesterday, Dale will win 3 today, but I never, ever thought I'd get $12.80 on Pascal Chant. In fact, when I saw the result, because I was busy doing other stuff, I saw the result. I text Keith Fusel. I said, $12.80? Are you kidding me? He was like, I know. And so that was a big price there. But look, Dale is a consummate professional. He always sends his horses out to win. He does a really, really nice job, and he may win a couple more today.
Look, he's very live indeed. That will conclude our handicapping segment this morning. But Tim, you and I on the desk this afternoon as well. So we'll be right back. Yeah. We'll go up to Dave Rodman in the interim for the scratches and changes.